Hi, welcome to Texas Business Personal Property 101. I'm Caitlin Mahan, and with us today is Lisa Zachary, our Chief Consulting Officer.
Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Mhm.
So let's get started with at least addressing what is business personal property, also known as BPP.
Business personal property is made up of tangible assets, right? Movable type assets. So in a business setting, think about furniture and fixtures, maybe a desk, a chair, computers, a point of sale piece of equipment, or a laptop. Those type of assets are really the business personal property, very different from real estate as land and improvements. And so that's the real distinction on the business personal property side. It's also governed by the Texas tax code and is required to be reported as of January 1 every year.
Okay. And why exactly does BPP matter here in Texas?
BPP is a really meaningful revenue stream for the state, specifically the local jurisdictions, counties, cities, schools, special water districts even. They really rely on the major source of their funding, if not all of their funding, directly from the property tax system.
Okay, and how exactly does that make Texas different maybe from other states?
One of the main drivers of difference in Texas is their market value definition in the tax code. It is very taxpayer friendly in the idea of it is the market value as of January 1. And at the taxpayer's discretion, they have the opportunity to report the cost of their assets and allow the district to depreciate them on their schedules. There is no state level property tax, so that is one of the other main differences in Texas is we don't have a state property tax. We also don't have a state income tax, which again is why the revenue is so critical at the local level.
Absolutely. So I would imagine those taxing authorities are trying to make up for any shortfalls that they could potentially and are receiving in other states when it comes to income tax.
Yeah.
Understand. What are some common mistakes that businesses make here in Texas?
I think one of the bigger mistakes that I see is around inventory planning and lack of taking advantage of the exemptions that are offered in the tax code for inventory as well as for fixed assets on the business personal property side.
And what type of exemptions are possible or are applicable to inventory?
On the inventory side, you have a free port exemption. So if you're sending goods outside of the state and you're holding them less than 175 days, you could have the percentage of that inventory exempt from your tax liability here in Texas. There's also, again, the inventory planning that I mentioned. There's an option in the tax code that you could elect for a September 1 assessment date of your inventory versus the January 1. So on the planning side, if you know that you're carrying less in the summer months than at the end of the year, it probably would benefit you to file that election.
That's really helpful. What type of industries do you see, just from your experience, that benefit from that September 1st election date?
It's really kind of vast, honestly, and it's shocking because on some level you would think, is the summer months great for retail? There's a lot of summer shopping. There's September 1, right? There's a lot of back to school versus maybe a manufacturing plant or distribution center that isn't running on public type dates that would drive high spend or high cost in their inventory book.
Okay. And any tips for business owners?
I think there are a couple. First, I would say really pay attention to that filing deadline. It's April 15th. It happens the same time as the federal filing deadline, so it can get lost in the mix.
And if you miss that deadline, what happens?
There is a 10% penalty if you don't file by April 15th. You do have an option in the state of Texas to request an extension. It is an automatic extension as long as it is requested. You don't need an approval. It gives you 30 days and extends that your deadline now is May 15th.
Okay.
And so it gives you a little bit of room if you need that. The other I would say is really maintaining really accurate fixed asset records and inventory